My best friend confessed to sleeping with my husband. While holding my newborn, my best friend sat on my hospital bed after I gave birth and told me she'd been keeping my husband company at night. She said it casually, like it was a favor. She was holding my newborn daughter when my husband walked in and froze. And that's when I realized this wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a nightmare. I was still hooked up to an IV, barely 12 hours out of an emergency C-section. My body felt hollow, heavy, wrong. I couldn't even sit up on my own yet. Jessica was sitting beside me on the hospital bed, rocking my newborn daughter like she'd done it 1,000 times. Too comfortable. My husband, Tom, walked in with 2 coffees from the cafeteria. Then Jessica smiled and said it. "I've been keeping Tom company at night while you were too pregnant to function." The room went quiet. The coffee slipped out of Tom's hand and hit the floor. Brown liquid splattered across the white hospital tiles. "What do you mean, keeping him company?" I asked. My voice sounded weak, distant, like it didn't belong to me. Jessica laughed softly. "Oh, don't look so worried," she said. "I just mean I've been helping him with his needs." She adjusted my daughter's blanket, like she was the mother. "You know men can't go 3 months without intimacy," she added. "And once you hit 7 months, the doctor said no physical activity." My chest tightened. My ears rang. "Someone had to take care of him," she said gently. Tom snapped. "Jessica, what the hell are you talking about?" I hadn't seen her in months. Not since my pregnancy complications started. Not since bed rest. Not since I could barely breathe without pain. Jessica's smile wavered. "Don't play dumb," she said. "Tell her about Tuesday nights. Tell her about lunch at my apartment. Tell her about last week, when you cried in my bed about being scared to become a father." She examined her manicure like this was small talk. Tom's face went white. "That's a lie," he said. "I've been at basketball every Tuesday with my brother." As if on cue, the door opened. Jake walked in. "What's going on?" he asked. Tom pointed at him. "Tell them where I've been." Jake frowned. "At the gym. With me and the guys. Why?" Jessica stood up so fast the chair scraped the floor. "No," she said sharply. "You were with me." Her hands shook as she pulled out her phone. "I have photos." She showed one. A blurry picture of a man's back on a couch. Tom stared at it. "That's not me," he said. "That's literally just a guy's back." He came to my side and grabbed my hand. "Amy, I swear on everything, I don't know what she's talking about." Jessica's voice started cracking. "You said she got boring," she snapped. "You said you missed having a real woman." The door opened again. My mother-in-law walked in holding balloons. She stopped dead. "What's happening?" Tom spoke before I could. "Jessica is having some kind of breakdown. She's accusing me of having an affair." Linda laughed once. "That's impossible," she said. "Tom's been with us every Tuesday helping renovate the garage. And Thursdays he does virtual therapy for anxiety about becoming a father. I drove him." Jessica's story was unraveling in real time. "No," she screamed. "He said he wished Amy had gotten an abortion." Tom's face went dark. "We tried for 2 years for this baby," he said. "Everyone here knows that." Jessica pulled up more photos. "Security camera footage," she said desperately. "His car outside my apartment." Tom leaned forward. "That's a silver Honda," he said. "I drive a black Toyota." The nurse stepped into the room. Security followed. Jessica turned toward me, eyes wild. "It did happen," she said. "He loves me. He said marrying you was a mistake." That's when it hit me. None of this was real, but all of it was dangerous. I thought the worst part was over, until I realized why Jessica chose this moment to say it, and what she was really trying to take from me. The room felt smaller after they took Jessica away. Security walked her out while she screamed my name, telling me not to believe them, telling me Tom was lying. My daughter started crying in my arms. I couldn't stop shaking. Tom kept apologizing over and over, like saying it enough times could glue me back together. "I swear to you," he said. "I never touched her. I never even went to her apartment." I wanted to believe him, but the timing kept echoing in my head. Why now? Why 12 hours after surgery? Why while I was weak, medicated, barely able to sit up? Why while she was holding my newborn? Linda stayed. She closed the door, pulled the privacy curtain, and that's when she said something that made my stomach drop. "Jessica's been obsessed with you for years." I looked at her. "What?" She hesitated, like she wasn't sure how much to say. "She copies you," Linda continued. "Your haircut, your clothes, even the way you decorate." My chest tightened. She wasn't wrong. Jessica had always mirrored me. Same yoga studio, same prenatal class, same baby name list until I stopped sharing. Linda lowered her voice. "She cried when you got pregnant," she said. "Said it wasn't fair that you got everything." That's when the pattern started to form. The distancing, the sudden disappearances, the way she stopped responding once my pregnancy became complicated. She didn't disappear. She was watching. Tom pulled out his phone. "I blocked her months ago," he said. "After Amy told me she was asking weird questions about our marriage." My stomach flipped. "What kind of questions?" He swallowed. if I was happy, if I ever felt trapped, if I'd ever imagined another life. My hands went cold. She wasn't trying to steal my husband. She was trying to replace me. And she chose the moment I was at my weakest to do it. That night, after everyone left, I stared at my daughter sleeping on my chest. And a terrifying thought crept in. What if Jessica hadn't just come to confess? What if she came to claim something she thought was hers? The next day, I learned what Jessica had been telling other people, and why the hospital wasn't the only place she'd planted this story. I didn't sleep that night. Every time my daughter stirred, my heart jumped. Every sound in the hallway felt too loud. The next morning, my phone started buzzing. Not texts. Calls. Friends I hadn't heard from in months. Distant relatives. Even a coworker I barely spoke to. Are you okay? Is everything true? I heard something really disturbing. That's when I understood. Jessica hadn't come to the hospital to confess. She came to confirm a story she'd already told. Tom grabbed his phone and started making calls. By noon, we had the full picture. For weeks, maybe months, Jessica had been telling people she was emotionally supporting Tom, that he was lonely, that I'd checked out during pregnancy. She told them I was cold, controlling, that I didn't care about him anymore. And then she added the part that made me feel sick. She said the baby might not even be his. I felt like the floor dropped out from under me. Tom lost it. He called her parents, showed them the messages, the timelines, the contradictions. They were stunned. Her mother cried. Her father kept repeating, "That doesn't make sense." But the damage was already done. People had heard her version first. And lies, once released, don't come back clean. That afternoon, a hospital social worker knocked on my door. My stomach flipped. She sat down carefully and said, "We received a call expressing concern about the baby's safety." I couldn't breathe. Someone had reported me. And I knew exactly who. Jessica didn't just want my husband. She wanted my life. The investigation that followed forced us to uncover the truth about Jessica's past. And what we found was even worse than we imagined. The investigation started quietly. Too quietly. A woman from Child Protective Services came by, just to check in. She smiled the entire time, asked polite questions, took notes, but every word felt like a threat. Did I feel supported at home? Was the baby planned? Had I ever felt overwhelmed or angry? I answered carefully, holding my daughter close. When she left, I broke down. Tom was furious. She did this, he said. She knew exactly what she was doing. That night, Tom's brother called. His voice was tight. "You need to sit down," he said. He'd done some digging. Apparently, this wasn't the first time Jessica had done something like this. In college, she'd accused her roommate's boyfriend of stalking her. After he rejected her, at her last job, she'd filed a harassment complaint against a coworker. Right after he got promoted over her. Both cases had been dropped. But the pattern was there. Obsession. Rejection. Escalation. Jake sent us screenshots, old emails, archived messages. Jessica had a habit of inserting herself into other people's relationships, especially when babies or weddings were involved. I felt sick. The CPS worker came back 2 days later, this time with paperwork. The allegation? Emotional instability due to postpartum stress. I realized then, this wasn't about Tom anymore. Jessica had decided I was the obstacle. And she wasn't done. The next thing she did crossed from delusion into something dangerous, and it forced us to take action we never imagined. 3 days later, the nurse's station called my room. "There's someone here asking to see your baby," she said carefully. My heart stopped. "Who?" I asked. There was a pause. "Jessica." Tom was already on his feet. "No," he said loudly. "Absolutely not." The nurse lowered her voice. "She says she's family." I felt dizzy. Family. She had said that word while holding my daughter. Like she believed it. Tom demanded security. The hospital locked down our floor. Jessica started screaming in the hallway. That the baby was hers too. That I was mentally unwell. That she was just trying to help. Patients stared. Nurses whispered. I held my daughter and shook. Security escorted her out, for good this time. That afternoon, CPS came back. Different caseworker. More serious tone. Jessica had filed another report. This one claimed I was detached from my baby. I laughed. Then I cried. Then something inside me hardened. Tom hired a lawyer that night. Not a family friend. Not a mediator. A real one. The lawyer listened quietly, then said something I'll never forget. "This is fixation," she said. And fixation escalates. We filed for a restraining order. And when the judge read Jessica's hospital outburst into the record, he didn't hesitate. The order should have stopped her. But it didn't, because Jessica had one last move. And it nearly destroyed us. The restraining order was supposed to end it. No contact. No appearances. No messages, direct or indirect. For a few days, the world went quiet. Too quiet. Then Tom's phone rang. His face drained of color as he listened. It was his employer. Someone had sent an anonymous email to HR, screenshots, accusations, a story about an affair with a mentally unstable woman who just gave birth. Jessica. She hadn't contacted us. She'd gone around us. By the end of the day, Tom was on unpaid leave, pending review. I felt like I couldn't breathe again. That night, another call came. This time from my job. The same story, the same lies, different wording. She was trying to burn everything down. The lawyer moved fast. Cease and desist letters, updated police reports, a digital forensics request. That's when we learned something terrifying. Jessica had created fake accounts, fake emails, even a fake phone number that matched Tom's area code. She'd been planning this for months. The investigator looked at me and said quietly, "She didn't want your husband." I swallowed. "She wanted your life." I stared at my daughter sleeping in her crib. And for the first time since giving birth, I felt real fear. Because obsession doesn't end when it's exposed. It ends when it's stopped. The evidence finally caught up with her, but what we uncovered explained why she chose me and why she wouldn't let go. The investigator called it a fixation profile. He laid everything out on the table, timelines, screenshots, search histories. Jessica hadn't just been lying. She'd been studying me, my social media, my routines, my pregnancy updates. She saved photos of my ultrasound, screenshotted posts about my complications, even bookmarked the hospital where I delivered. Then he showed us something that made my stomach drop. A folder on her laptop, labeled with my name. Inside were notes about my marriage, my work schedule, my due date, and a line that still makes me sick to remember. "If she breaks, he'll need someone stable." I felt cold all over. This wasn't jealousy. This was replacement. The investigator explained it plainly. "She sees your life as transferable," he said. "If she can discredit you, she can step in." The CPS reports, the hospital scene, the workplace emails. It was all one plan. That night, I held my daughter and cried in a way I never had before. Not from pain, from relief, because the truth was finally documented, and from fear, because people who think this way don't stop easily. The lawyer called the next morning. "They're upgrading the restraining order," she said. "Full protection, extended duration." Jessica had been arrested for violating the order. But as I hung up, one thought wouldn't leave me. This wasn't her first attempt, and I wasn't her first target. The court hearing revealed something from Jessica's past that made the judge go silent, and made me realize how close we came to losing everything. The courtroom was quiet in a way that felt heavy. Jessica sat across from us, hair neatly done, hands folded, like none of this concerned her. The judge reviewed the evidence slowly. Hospital reports, CPS documentation, workplace complaints, digital forensics. Then he asked a simple question. "Has the defendant exhibited similar behavior in the past?" The investigator stood, and that's when the story widened. 3 other names, 3 other women, all pregnant or newly postpartum, all close friends at the time. In each case, Jessica had inserted herself, offering help, support, late-night conversations. In 2 of them, marriages ended. In 1, a restraining order had quietly been filed and sealed. My chest tightened. I wasn't special. I was next. The judge looked at Jessica. "Do you understand why this behavior is dangerous?" She smiled. A small, confused smile. "I was just trying to help," she said. "They needed me." That was enough. The judge issued a permanent protective order. Mandatory psychiatric evaluation. No contact with me, my husband, or my child. As security led her away, she turned and looked straight at me. Not angry, not sad, certain. Like she still believed the story would end differently. That night I locked every door, checked the windows twice, and held my daughter until she fell asleep. Because sometimes the scariest thing isn't betrayal. It's realizing you were chosen. I thought the nightmare was finally over. Until months later, when a single envelope arrived in the mail. It came on an ordinary Tuesday. No return address. Just my name, written carefully. My hand shook as I opened it. Inside was a photograph. Me, leaving the grocery store with my daughter. Recent. Too recent. My heart started racing. Behind the photo was a note. Just one sentence. "You look tired. Motherhood suits you." I couldn't breathe. We called the police immediately. The investigator's voice was tight. "She shouldn't have access to you," he said. "She's not supposed to know where you live." The postmark told us everything. She hadn't sent it. Someone else had. Jessica had told someone else my address. Someone else my routine. The lawyer called it proxy harassment. Using other people to violate the order without touching it herself. The police expanded the investigation. Found messages, private forums, sympathy groups, people who believed her version of the story. She wasn't alone anymore. She had followers. That night I sat in the dark, watching my daughter sleep. I understood something then. Jessica didn't want revenge. She wanted relevance. And as long as I existed, she believed she was being erased. The final court decision forced a permanent separation. But it also left me with a truth I still carry every day. The final hearing lasted less than 20 minutes. That's how airtight the evidence was. The judge didn't raise his voice, didn't dramatize it. He simply read the conclusion. Permanent protective order, no third-party contact, mandatory treatment, criminal charges if violated again. And then he looked directly at me. This is not your fault, he said. I didn't realize how badly I needed to hear that until my chest started shaking. Jessica wasn't in the courtroom. She'd waived her appearance. The lawyer said that was common. People like her don't like endings they can't rewrite. Life didn't snap back to normal after that. I still double-check locks. I still scan rooms. I still flinch when someone knows my name. But I sleep. I laugh again. I watch my daughter grow without fear that someone is waiting to replace me. Tom and I went to therapy together. Not because we were broken, but because we survived something together. Sometimes people ask if I miss Jessica. I don't. I miss the version of the world where betrayal like that felt impossible, but I gained something else. Clarity, because the most dangerous lies aren't the ones shouted in anger. They're the ones whispered. While someone is holding your child and smiling like they belong there,